Morning toadies, here we are for an early morning kit inspection. It's a slightly overcast day today, but I'm sure it'll dry out later and we'll be fine. Somewhat rashly, we did offer to take some of the hotel staff out for a drive this morning, so there may be a rush. There's Chris having his breakfast. Look, there he is waving just in this low window here. You may not be able to see him because of the early morning glare, but nonetheless a splendid sight indeed. Whilst we're looking at the hotel, because we do like to see the hotel sometimes, I mean, here's the rear. You see we parked down the side here. We prefer to hide furtively at the back. Let's face it, that's where we're best suited. Henry's bedroom is the top one at the right here on the corner. You can just see a light on there, so obviously he's not yet sneaking around. Anyhow, to the vehicles. Henry's problems so far to date stem largely in the tyre department. As we can see, this is slightly worn, and I believe some of the towed detectives have been on the case with offers of help, and Henry should be well sorted, but they're not really very good at all, are they? Now, Bobsan, oh dear, what can we say? We've had all sorts of bother here. Rear tyres now an issue. Pan to the inside camera if we can, where I believe there really isn't much at all, particularly in this area where the drive comes from. And as oh dear. What could this be? It looks like a Carrefour petrol station bollard reversing incident, but we're none the wiser really, that's only a guess. And then just quickly, we'll move around to the front of the Bobsan mobile. You may have noticed from yesterday's footage, Bobsan in the lead at some stages, although we've had to give that up because the French were so keen to surrender. They kept rushing out. He ran many of them over, resulting in the loss of the front splitter, which is now here in the passenger seat for the duration of the journey. There we are. Moving swiftly on, this is the steed of our trusty kitchen helper. Onto the Schnitzelmobile. Tyres, let's have a quick look at this. AD08, a remarkably wise touring choice. Well done, Schnitzel. We've had some rattles from the side, but generally everything's fairly tickety-boo. Now indeed, my trusty weapon here. Tyres, AD08. What can we say? A remarkably wise touring choice. I have, however, had some problems on this trip with the MILF light, and instead of having all sorts of randy women throwing themselves at me, it's resulted in a brief foray into the 98 Club on the advice of my fellow tourists. I'm ever so sorry, peers. Now, Doddridge Sand, we've had various rattles and squeaks and complaints about superchargers, when all it really was a rattly undertray. It was just attention-seeking behaviour. However, let's check that tyre wear. AD08's, again, a remarkably wise touring choice, although the Doddridge Sand seems to have worn his tyres at a slightly greater rate than these other two vehicles. Purely related to traction control, because he is a fully paid up member of the Traction Control Club, and toadies, there's nothing wrong with that. Lots of you do it, you know who you are. Day 6, Toadies, and here we are once again. We find ourselves in a tyre depot in Europe. Here is Henry Sand this time being fitted, or Henri as he's now known to his fellow tourists. He looks happy now because he's getting a pair of Dunlops indeed. Let's see how they perform. Bob Sand, whose vehicle we can see here, is still in need of tyres, but we're hopeful to source those later, and we'll be sure to bring you another tyre depot shot if we get the chance.